Life is filled with countless thoughts running through one's mind every minute of every day. Some are essential to one's survival, while others are trivial and unnecessary. But when these thoughts become overwhelming, it can feel like the mind is cluttered and chaotic. This is what experts call mental clutter. It's the accumulation of negative self-talk, worries, doubts, and fears that hinder people from focusing on what really matters. Just like physical clutter, mental clutter can affect one's mental health, creativity, and productivity. It's important to acknowledge mental clutter and find ways to clear the mind so that people can function at their best. Mental clutter can take many different forms, such as obsessive thoughts or negative self-talk. It can also manifest as excessive planning or an inability to focus on the present moment. Perfectionism and a constant need for control are also common culprits of mental clutter. Perhaps one finds themselves replaying past mistakes over and over again, or constantly worrying about a future event that may not even happen. All of these are examples of mental clutter, and they can have a profound impact on one's emotions, decisions, and overall well-being, ultimately making it incredibly hard for people to let go and move on. Brain dumping, a tool popularized by productivity consultant David Allen, is a technique to help organize one's thoughts and close any lingering open loops in one's mind. However, putting this technique into practice may not always be as easy as it sounds. Sometimes when people are feeling anxious or are under a lot of stress, thoughts race too fast to follow, let alone put down on paper. It can be a daunting task to try to make sense of the chaos in one's mind. Nevertheless, all individuals who want to let go of the overwhelming thoughts that clutter their head. Despite the challenges, with practice, anyone can master the art of brain dumping and reap the benefits of a clear mind. A brain dump can be compared to emptying out one's backpack at the end of a long day. Just like how students unload all their notebooks, pencils, and textbooks onto their desk, a brain dump involves getting everything out of one's head and onto paper or a screen. It can feel overwhelming at first, much like the chaotic pile of school supplies on one's desk. But once the individual starts organizing and processing the information, they feel much more relaxed and able to tackle their tasks with a clear mind. So, think of a brain dump as a necessary process, just like organizing one's backpack to start fresh each day. By creating space, people may find that their newfound open-mindedness leads to a surge of creativity. If individuals are wondering why they should start doing a brain dump, there are plenty of reasons to consider. However, the biggest benefit of a brain dump is that it allows people to clear their mind of unnecessary worries and tasks. When someone has a lot on their plate, everything can feel urgent and important, which can leave them feeling overwhelmed and stressed. By taking the time to write down everything that's on their mind, they'll gain a better perspective on what's truly important and what can wait. Additionally, a brain dump helps people to set aside the shoulds in one's life, those things that they feel pressured to do, but never seem to accomplish. With a clear list of priorities, they can focus on what really matters and can achieve a greater sense of productivity and peace of mind. Similar to how clutter can make one's home feel overwhelming, mental clutter can make their minds feel like they're in overdrive. Their thoughts throughout the day can be difficult to concentrate on, and some of them can cause mental clutter. Mental clutter can take many forms, such as information overload, which is when people have too much information to process and it leads to feeling mentally drained. Studies have shown that information overload negatively impacts our ability to focus, make decisions, and retain information. It can also lead to anxiety and burnout, affecting our overall well-being. Therefore, it is important to be mindful of our exposure to information and take breaks to recharge our mental batteries. Expectations are another form of mental clutter, where individuals want things or people to be a certain way, but they just don't happen. Tasks that they're procrastinating on can also contribute to mental clutter, constantly nagging at the back of their minds throughout the day. Finally, negative feelings like stress, anxiety, worry, fear, shame, anger, and frustration can all create mental clutter. If people don't filter out the noise in their thoughts, they can become easily irritated throughout the day, making it difficult to focus and be productive. Their minds can jump between different thoughts and distractions, from current events to mundane tasks to celebrity gossip, leading to even more mental clutter. To help them incorporate this beneficial practice into their life and gain more control, relaxation, and confidence, it's time to explore some tips for brain dumping. Try a simple brain dump exercise. The brain dump exercise is a simple and effective way to clear one's mind and get organized. This exercise allows people to put all their thoughts and ideas down on paper so they can free up space in their mind and focus on what's important. To get started, grab a sheet of paper or open a computer file and write a sentence that will guide your thoughts. For example, individuals can write, "What should I be aware of right now? What tasks should I focus on right now? What are the benefits of," or "What dangers are there in?" The sentence they choose will depend on what they want to achieve from the exercise. Once they've written their sentence, they need to set a timer for 10 minutes. During this time, they allow themselves to write down everything that comes to mind without editing or filtering their thoughts. If they get stuck or can't think of anything to write, they just repeat the sentence that was written at the beginning and continue writing. The goal of this exercise is to get everything out of one's head and onto paper. This can include anything from one's to-do list, ideas, worries, and even dreams. By doing this exercise regularly, people can train their mind to be more focused and less cluttered with thoughts that don't serve them. For example, let's say one is feeling overwhelmed with all the tasks they need to complete for work. They decide to do a brain dump exercise using the sentence, "What task should I focus on right now?" Then they set a timer for 10 minutes and start writing down all the tasks that come to mind. They write down everything, from small tasks like sending an email to big projects like completing a report. After 10 minutes, they review their list and prioritize the tasks based on urgency and importance. They can now focus on completing the most important tasks first, knowing that they have everything written down and organized. Now that they have their brain dumps on paper, what exactly are they supposed to do with them? Keeping one's brain dumps and reviewing them is crucial to getting the most out of the process. Not only does it help people track their progress and ideas, but it can also serve as a source of inspiration for future projects. One way to keep brain dumps is to use a dedicated notebook or journal. This allows individuals to keep all their ideas and thoughts in one place, making it easy to reference them later. When choosing a notebook, consider factors such as paper quality, size, and portability. For example, if someone prefers to use a fountain pen, they may want to choose a notebook with high-quality paper that won't bleed or smudge. If they need to carry their notebook with them, they should look for one that's easy to use and has a strong cover to protect it from wear and tear. Once one has their notebook, they need to be sure to review their brain dumps regularly. They set aside time each week or month to go back through their notes and look for any ideas or insights that may have slipped their mind. This can also be a great opportunity to organize one's thoughts and ideas and identify any patterns or themes that emerge. For example, let's say an individual is working on a new marketing campaign for their business. During a brain dump session, they jot down a bunch of ideas for social media posts, blog articles, and email newsletters. A few weeks later, they review their notes and notice that many of their ideas revolve around a particular theme or topic. This insight could help them refine their campaign strategy and create more targeted content for their audience. Overall, keeping and reviewing one's brain dumps is a simple yet powerful way to harness the full potential of one's ideas and thoughts. With a little bit of time and effort, they can turn their brain dumps into a valuable resource that helps them stay organized, creative, and productive. From brain dump to action items. Now that the dump is out on paper and initially reviewed, it has to be thoroughly reviewed once again to identify the actionable items. This means looking through the list of ideas, thoughts, and tasks one has written down, and identifying the items that can be turned into concrete actions. It's important to be selective and focus on the most important actions. People shouldn't try to tackle everything at once, or they'll risk feeling overwhelmed and giving up before they even start. Instead, try to prioritize the items and choose the ones that are most urgent or will have the biggest impact on one's life. Once individuals have identified their actionable items, it's time to take action on them. This can mean anything from scheduling a meeting or phone call to completing a task or project. The key is to take action immediately rather than letting the items sit on one's list and pile up. If one finds that their brain dump is filled with too many actionable items, they need to try to limit themselves to the most important 3. This will help them in avoiding feeling overwhelmed and allow them to focus on the tasks that will have the biggest impact on their life. For example, an individual partakes in a brain dump about their work, and it includes tasks like prepare for the upcoming meeting, follow up with the client, and complete the project report. Instead of trying to do all 3 tasks at once, they focus on the most urgent task, such as prepare for the upcoming meeting. They set a deadline for completing this task and take action immediately, such as blocking out time on their calendar to prepare for the meeting. Once that task has been completed, they can move on to the next one. This has been The Art of Letting Go. Stop overthinking, stop negative spirals, and find emotional freedom. Written by Nick Trenton, narrated by Russell Newton. Copyright 2023 by Nick Trenton. Production copyright by Nick Trenton.